fact that he's made so many changes tells me that he will look back on that and go, I can't afford to do that too many times.
This moves us on lovely to the striker situation.
If I speak, Jason, I'm in big trouble.
This is the job Maresca's going to have to now deal with. Last year, he had Noah away. This year, he's got Bayern Munich away.
The space, like you said, that is afforded. You expect players like Garnacho, Gittins, Neto, they start taking advantage of that space. So I'm looking forward to the run.
He's as good as any wide man right now in the country. Yeah. Good as
so
any
good.
wide man.
Yes, I think it does play a part at the end of the game. Jason, at the end of the game, it's a last-minute equaliser.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Welcome to Inside Chelsea, the show for Chelsea fans by Chelsea fans. This show is brought to you by talkSPORT Bet. I'm Olivia Bazzaglio and I'm joined by the lovely duo of Jason Cundy and Matisse. Hey,
how you doing?
All right, guys.
I feel like it's been a long time
It has.
since
It has
you've
been
been here.
ages. It's been months.
I feel like so much.
Anyway.
I feel like so much has happened.
Yeah.
Lots has happened.
Lots has happened. And we are going to get into everything that has happened. But let's start with the most recent thing that's happened, and that is Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. By the way, how nice was it to have an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Premier League?
I was all right with that,
if you were in on a Saturday night, which I definitely was, I went to the Hawthorns. That's how I spent my week. I'm never doing that again. West Brom derby. Why did I waste my Saturday there? Anyway, let's talk about the game. Just initial thoughts, Jace, on what ended up being a draw, but very different halves of football, I would say.
Yeah, I think over 90 minutes, I think if you look back at it objectively, I think the point shared was probably a fair result. In the Premier League, you cannot afford to give 45 minutes up. And Maresca now is in a very different position to what he was last year. Last year, we were playing after international break, we were playing whoever or home and away, and then we might be playing Noah. That ain't the case anymore. And I think that we've got Bayern Munich away, right?
We've got Bayern Munich, we've got Barcelona, Napoli, anyone else?
Life changed.
So all of a sudden, we had 2 teams last season. He's now got one massive squad to choose from. And I think if you asked him now, would he pick a different team to start against Brentford? I think the answer would be yes. I think you'd see a lot of changes. We saw that. I think Hato and Gittins on that left side clearly was a problem for us. There was only 4 changes made from the previous game, but those 4 changes, actually, 2 of them on that left side, and I felt it showed. Mostly we went down the right. I was a little bit worried about the fact that we kept leaving ourselves 1v1, sometimes 2v1, with the ball over the top. They kept trying it, and eventually it's a brilliant goal, Mshada, right? No mistake about it. But it reminded me a little bit too much, sorry Liv, little bit too much of the Josh King goal that wasn't allowed, where Josh King got down that side, he's got in. Yep. And I think if you look at that, I felt that it was a little bit of a blueprint. We can leave ourselves a bit wide and a bit open because of our fullbacks can't either invert or go forward. And once there's a transition and that ball is lost, and I thought Tosin done so well on both occasions to get himself back. Once that, keep him on his left foot, keep Josh King on his left foot, keep Shada on his left foot, and both occasions they both come in and open the goal up. Over the course of the 90 minutes, second half we were brilliant. I'm really, really pleased with those second half performances. But the fact that he's made so many changes tells me that he will look back on that and go, I can't afford to do that too many times.
Why do you think, I suppose the obvious reason for all those changes, I say all those changes, it felt like it was more changes, I think, because of the players that weren't in the team. Yeah. Obviously Palmer not being there, Reece James as well. But do you think it was one eye on Bayern Munich that's coming up this week? But also, is that the right thing to do when a game in the Premier League is equally as important right now?
I think he's looking at the whole season. Obviously we know we've come off the Club World Cup, so we're going to have a bit of potential burnout towards the end of the season with that as well. I think Cucurella was fair to be rested because he just has so much game time.
Do you think? See, I actually looked at... Sorry to interrupt you. I actually looked at the changes and thought Cucurella needs to be starting.
I'm sympathetic to not starting Cucurella when he's had a gruelling season last year. He's had to play every game almost. We only had one left back basically in the squad in the second half of last season with Renato Vega going to Juventus. Yeah. James we have to manage because he played both the England games. My biggest concerns with that lineup was Fofana playing just out of nowhere when we have Josh Achampong
at right back as well.
Josh Achampong, if you're going for the aerial, dominance, so you want to make sure that you don't lose that battle to Brentford, you don't want to go with gusto. Achampong's right there. I think he played against Crystal Palace. He dealt with Mateta pretty well. I think he's proven enough now that he should be higher up the pecking order than he is. And the other thing was not having Gu on the bench, because we know the striker situation on deadline day, how that unfolded. And yes, maybe Gu is or isn't ready. I think he would have done well with a loan into the Championship, but that's the situation we're in. When you're going up against a back five with Brentford, you've got no overlapping fullbacks because they're inverting or they're coming into the back three. You've got two wingers, one in Gittins who's very raw, very unproven, and it's a lot to ask with no overlap, no chemistry. And then you don't have another striker on the bench to go two up top and start to really dismantle that centre-back of, that three-man centre-back pairing. So I just thought we lacked quite a lot in that game, to be honest, especially in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, there was contrasted hugely. Well, there's two half performances. You mentioned Mark Gu not being obviously involved at all. Obviously, he was bought to Brentford just in case a situation happened like Cole Palmer, where someone gets injured in the warm-up. However, do you think the issue is that Maresca came out and said, Jace, that, he's paid Tyreek George, he wanted to give him a bit of confidence, and that's why he then obviously came on. But the problem with this setup right now, with the Liam Delap injury, is that Joao Pedro is not an out-and-out number 9. He's not. Maresca said that. Maresca said, when he had all three of Jackson, Delap and Pedro, he said, I've got 2 number 9s, Delap and Jackson. Joao Pedro, we know, likes to occupy the spaces slightly deeper. But to do that, you need to have someone in behind.
Sometimes the runner doesn't necessarily have to come from the front man.
Yeah, it could come from... it
can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I felt when the changes were made in the second half, we had runners. I mean, Palmer's run, actually, for the equaliser, he takes them... It only needs 5 yards. He takes them. He doesn't get the run. He doesn't get the ball.
No.
But he's taken them there. Eventually, the ball is recycled, comes over the cross from Enzo, bounces off the head of Joao Pedro. Palmer's then arrived and slots out. But we never had any of that. And I felt throughout that first half that there was no movement. With the only real pace and movement we had was out on the right-hand side. But everything was in front of their back five. And when you can see everything as a back line, the game is... It's so easy. What you don't want to do is a run to take you there, your body shape changes, then you realise the pass is not made, and then you reset. But all you've then done is give another 3 or 4, maybe 5 yards there. Second half, when Palmer came on, you saw that there was a lovely ball into it, and he gets on that half turn, then he receives it, and then he goes. I actually thought Buonanotte did very well.
Yeah.
I thought he'd done okay, but there were the changes we had. You're bringing on the 2 fullbacks, and they're seasoned pros. Fofana, he said he wants to give it, but the introduction of I felt Cucurella really helped us. And down that left-hand side, I felt even helped Gittins, but it was the introduction of Palmer that changed everything. Tyreek George, big clap for him, because he stretched them. He gave them problems. None of that in the first half. None of that. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I feel that if you ask Maresca now, looking back at how the game went, I think he wouldn't have made the 4 changes that he did. No. I think they'll be slightly more subtle.
He was unlucky with Esteval being ill, I think, because he would have started and maybe Neto would have gone to the left and then Gittins
possibly.
Because I feel like Gittins was just his off the ball movement was just all over the place.
But then, of course, on the back of the international, I'm not making excuses here, but the fact that we've got international break, players coming up from South America, we've got as many as most teams, as far as I'm aware, and then we got a tough game away. And then we got Bayern Munich away. I just felt that the cards didn't quite fall in his favour.
Yeah.
But this is the job Maresca's going to have to now deal with. Last year, he had Noah away. This year, he's got Bayern Munich away. And hopefully, he will learn from that and look back and reflect with his coaching staff and say, right, next time, what do we do to make sure that this Saturday game, I saw Spurs' team, West Ham, full strength. Yeah. Liverpool team, full strength. Arsenal team, full strength. Newcastle team, full strength. We're the only team that didn't go full strength, and unfortunately we paid the price.
Do you think he's just worried about obviously what happened with Liam Delap, and he's just trying to be now extra careful because we have got such a long season and loads of games? Do you think that's all he was thinking? But was he right to do that?
Potentially. We do pick up quite a bit of... We've already had quite a few injuries as it is. So you do have to be careful with it because it is a long season. So I do get that standpoint. I didn't mind some of the rotations because you couldn't start Palmer because he had a knock coming in.
Yeah.
Esteban was ill. Cucurella, I feel... we are risking a burnout if we don't look at some games taking him out. And Reece James, of course, is always looked after. Lavia's not fit. So I feel like some of those cards were dealt. But I also feel like the setup, the way that we decided to deploy some players, like Hato, for instance, I see Hato as a left-sided defender, a left back / maybe he can go in centre back. But we had Hato going into central areas,
into midfield,
and then we had Chalobah really rigid in terms of he's on the left side of defence, and it's not a John Terry situation where the left foot is switched on all the time. He's always pivoting to his right, and our build up was so poor in the first half because everybody just looked disjointed. It wasn't good build up play, and I think Chalobah's passing is much better down the right as well. Seen him play some beautiful passes from that side. So I feel like rushing Fofana in. And not, I feel like the way that defence was laid out was just wrong for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
So I think two things Matisse has made there. The Club World Cup, he's the only manager in the league that's having to deal with the Club World Cup, going deep into that. Man City went out a week and a half earlier than us, so there's that, and that week and a half is so much easier. Plus there's been those one or two injuries, illnesses that you've highlighted. But to have Hato start with Gittins on that left-hand side,
just too much.
It just didn't work. Yeah. There's no point in even having a conversation about it. We all saw it. It didn't work.
And I think Maresca will learn from that. I think he's seen that it didn't work. And actually, he made those changes at half-time knowing that it wasn't working and that was the right thing to do. This show is brought to you by our partners talkSPORT Bet. New customers get an exclusive offer of £40 in free bets when you bet £10. Go to talksportbet.com/Inside Chelsea to claim this offer now. Like you said, Matisse, he couldn't start Cole Palmer. I think we all understood that would have been too much of a risk. But Jace, when he came on, can we talk about that finish? Because he has made that look. That's not an easy finish. To put that so perfectly in the side netting... He is just, and then that's the Cole Palmer that we perhaps maybe missed towards the end of last season. Yeah. But my word, he changed the game.
He did change the game, and there was, before he came on, we were very much on top. We started to dominate the ball. We started to create more chances, start to look a bit more dangerous. But he was the flower, the sprinkles on top of what was eventually happened. I don't think we're Cole Palmer FC, right? I think the introduction of the fact that we've seen Esteval come in. I think there are players that can do it. Joao Pedro. Obviously, we've got the injury now to Delap. But I think that we are now a team that can operate and get through games, as we've shown throughout the time when Palmer's been injured. We can get results. But what it did prove is how important he still very much is. I wouldn't want to go through a season with him out missing for 4, 5, 6 weeks. I think that could be so damaging because... Yeah. The runs he makes, the composure. He had a hand in the Caicedo goal as well. He's such a special player. He's our go-to guy. He's our Hazard of this generation.
And Moises Caicedo loves a worldie, doesn't he?
That was
what a finish!
Essien-esque finish. Yeah, Essien-esque finish. And the thing is, he only seems to score great goals. Yeah. Even if they have had a couple of disallowed, I think, away at Tottenham a few years ago. Yeah, but he always scores these long ranges. I remember the one from the halfway line on the final day as well. So
Man United,
yeah.
He is an unbelievable footballer. Like the way that he does his job in that midfield, recovering the ball, recycling it. He's a good passer, a very good passer. He breaks lines, and then these strikes, they come every once in a while, but they're so critical, and that's a massive goal. That could have been the winner. It deserved to be the winner, but obviously we know what happened at the end. We couldn't quite hold on with the way we kind of defended. But he is instrumental. I would go as far as to say he's just as important now as Cole Palmer because of the injuries that we have in midfield. We have Santos, but after that the other guys are out injured for I don't know how long.
He is just I love him. He is the best, Moises Caicedo. I struggled to find a player in his position, barring Rodri.
And becoming a leader, guys. I remember doing this show a year ago. We were talking about leaders. Who are they? They're emerging now. He is very much that. I saw he got him in a little bit of a set too as well. I kind of like that now. He's prepared not just to battle on the pitch, but when the ball goes dead and there's a decision to be made, the ref's there, he's part of that as well. So we're growing as... we can all see it's growing as this unit.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously couldn't hold on. It is worth talking about the equaliser we conceded in the very last minute. A little bit of controversy, shall we say, that not a lot of people seem to be talking about, and I think should maybe be talking about more given how much they spoke about the Josh King disallowed goal. So obviously everyone probably will have seen it by now. There was a flick on. Ouattara was in an offside position, comes back, sort of tries to kick the ball, misses, the ball goes straight through to Fabio Carvalho, who then scores. Now, the on-field decision was that no offside occurred, officials deeming there was no clear impact from Ouattara before Fabio Carvalho scored. VAR James Bell studied it, but decided the referee's call should stand as it was subjective and wasn't considered a clear and obvious error, with PGMOL Chief Howard Webb insisting on a high threshold for intervention. Just first of all... I didn't even need to ask a question.
This, I guess I'll take us off, but I do feel like they're gonna start overcompensating when it comes to decision making with
it's not gonna happen. It's not, Matisse. Come on.
I do.
Come on. You're telling me that there's a corruption.
No,
I'm not saying
Chelsea. I'm not saying it's corruption, but I'm saying the amount of pressure, media pressure there was last couple of weeks on this Josh King situation with this goal.
No one's going to think
that. It was insane. I've never seen.
I agree with that.
a swell and a story like it. They were speaking about it as the worst decision I've ever seen on record.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And then, yes, I think it does play a part at the end of the game. Jason, at the end of the game, it's a last-minute equaliser.
No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that.
The VAR check was so quick, Jason. It didn't even go to the screen.
I don't. So what are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that I think the pressure that is circling around Chelsea from the Fulham game is definitely playing on their mind in making a decision in favour of Chelsea in this game. Look, even if it's not on purpose, I think it does. It plays a part sometimes.
I'm not buying it. I'm simply not buying it because you can get. Look, we've had some good fortune with VAR this season already, right? And if someone made the point about after the Crystal Palace goal that was disallowed. Albeit under the law of whatever law it is.
That random... No, he wasn't given for that, though.
No, whatever it was, right? They're 1 metre, right? Then you fast forward what happened against Fulham. There is no conspiracy. I want football fans. This goes out to every football fan. There's no conspiracy. Some decisions you get, some you don't. And I think we've all got to take our hats off and stop thinking that there's an agenda. Because there is no WhatsApp group with referees and Pogmo, whoever they are, right, saying that we have got to make sure we don't give that to Chelsea. There's no time for the refs and Pogmo, whoever's in VAR at Stockley Park, to think about this. It's not true. It's simply not true. You might feel it, but I'm telling you now that simply can't happen.
When I saw that situation, I personally wasn't even looking at that. I was looking at the shoddy defending. The fact that we had 3 to 4 defenders challenging one person, and five losing the header, and then unfortunately, whether it's Garnacho or Reece James' responsibility on the back post, they're not tracking Carvalho.
Now you start to make sense. Sorry, Liv.
No, you guys go on.
Now you're starting to make sense, and I'll tell you why. Right? Is he in offside position? Yes, it's a throw-in. You can't be offside from a throw-in, right? We all know that, right?
Yeah.
There is a flick on from Aya. There are 5 Chelsea players around there. My point of view, what I'm annoyed at and frustrated at, more than the decision, is why has Reece left 1v2 in the box? Why has that been allowed to happen? What we should have had is at least a 2v2 in the box, so that Reece isn't there, having Ouattara there, can't remember who's to his left there, but he is occupied. I think that if we get the offside decision, it's fair. The fact it's not given, I'm cool with that as well for the good of the game, because I feel that if that decision gone against us, we'd be sitting here now and we'd all be saying it's a terrible decision. The hypocrisy amongst football fans, and this is global now. This is everyone, and I think sometimes we just got to take a step back. I'm more annoyed with the fact that we were warned so many times about that long throw. First half and second half. There was one about minutes before where Sanchez has tipped it over. The question I really want the answer to, and no one's given me it yet, so
I'll try.
Go on. Is that when the VAR looked at it Did the linesman or the assistant on that side, did he know there was a flick on? Because if the ball has been thrown in and he thinks that Ayer has not flicked it on...
Or a Chelsea player has flicked it on.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Right. If that happens, he thinks it's a good goal. So, did anyone at any point, when VAR were looking at it, refer to the assistant on that side? Do you know who's flicked it on? Because if he can see, and I'm guessing he can, Otara's right leg being an offside position, has anyone said to him,
did you see that?
I have flicked it on. But does that change your thoughts on the goal?
But is this not the basics? Is this not the
No,
basics?
I don't know the answer.
Is this not the basics? How many weeks, rightly or wrongly, in favour or not in favour of Chelsea, are we going to sit here and speak about VAR decisions and referees? I don't feel like the standard of refereeing in this country is high enough. And now it's just becoming a situation where we just tolerate it because it's normalised that these decisions are just going to be made and it's just going to be the luck of the draw. If we're going to constantly have these decisions just wrong all the time, because he's interfering with play, there's no doubt about it. Like you said, he takes Reece James's attention away. He's definitely obstructing him from making a decision to go and mark the back post.
Or to clear it. He's then stuck in between deciding to go back to Carvalho or then trying to clear the ball. Yeah. Do you think just in isolation...
I think both things can be true. I think it's the wrong decision and it's poor defending.
We know it's poor defending. We know that 5 players going for one ball, they should have dealt with it, they didn't. Take that out of the equation. We know it's bad defending. In isolation, do you think Dango Ouattara was interfering with play from an offside position?
From Reece James's point of view, there is no doubt in my mind that he was occupying most of what was going on in front of him. Once that ball has then gone past him, he is very much aware. However, I can't remember who was on that side. My apologies, right? But then, of course, you then fast forward. What actually happens is that Carvalho gets on the back of Garnacho, and Garnacho is now ball watching. So there are so many strands to this. As an ex-defender, the laws of the game now, the way they've changed, it's impossible. If you're in my eye line and you're offside, you're interfering with how I defend this situation.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Especially if you go to kick the ball as well.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. You're offside in my eye line, and I'm worried about you as a player. You are affecting my decision making. Offside has to be given. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot was made about Garnacho at the back post. I think it was just classic social media, just trying to jump to any little thing that they can. Right, we know, right? Okay, he's a winger. He was on with Carvalho. He probably shouldn't have let him go. He did. It's ended in a goal, but a lot happened before that. So there's no point blaming Alejandro Garnacho. He's not responsible for that goal being conceded.
No, he couldn't help, but so
he could have helped.
So many others.
So could have all the defenders back there. There's about 8 of them. Yeah. They all could have helped, and it wouldn't have been a goal. It was a goal. But just what did you make of Alejandro Garnacho coming on? Because I thought he offered something different down that left-hand side, and he created that chance for Palmer, which, albeit a difficult one, I would have expected Palmer to probably do a little bit better in that situation. Yeah. But I thought it was an encouraging performance.
I think it was. He came. Look, I think the standard that Gittins set, unfortunately, was quite low. The bar was very low. So when Garnacho came on, I think it was a relief for a lot of people watching to say, right, we know Gittins is raw. He's new to the league. Yeah. He's new to the system, and Garnacho is Premier League proven. He's more experienced. Let's see what he can bring to the table. And I think he was direct. He had good cutbacks. He created chances. And if he had just been able to track that man, it would have been a perfect performance off the bench because he's basically created a goal and a massive opportunity as well. So he's helped us into winning the game. So if it had ended like that, so no complaints with his performance at all. And to be honest, when you sign young wingers, as we saw with Madueke when he was in his first 6 months, you're going to see them miss. You're going to see a lack of concentration to track runners. We saw it against West Ham when Emerson Palmieri scored at the Olympic Park. Madueke didn't track him, and we're going to see that with Gittins, and we're probably going to see that with Garnacho, even though maybe Garnacho shouldn't because he's a lot more experienced. But you're just going to see that. So that's what you take on when you bring in young wingers.
Just to caveat that, is that it was a lovely time for Garnacho to come on the pitch where we were on top.
Yeah.
He had Cucurella in there. We were a better team. But Reece was on the other side. We were a much more balanced team, and I felt a bit sorry for Gittins that he was in that situation where we were under strength. We heard Maresca saying that Fofana was only going to play to try and get him up some match fitness.
Yeah.
The team was quite unbalanced.
Yeah.
Garnacho came on where we were on top and we were firing.
Yeah.
Maybe what would have Gittins have done had that?
Yeah, if it was the other way around. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, so what happens? I mean, all is forgiven if he bangs in the winner at Old Trafford, a stadium we haven't won at. I cannot believe I'm still sat here saying we haven't won this since 2013. Is there going to be a time where we actually win at Old Trafford? And also, does Alejandro Garnacho start at Old Trafford?
I saw him.
I think it depends on the Bayern Munich game for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course that's in between. But
so do you think whoever starts against Bayern, the other one? So do you think if Gittins starts against Bayern, Garnacho starts against United, or do you think vice versa, or do you think it could be the same player?
I'm not starting Gittins in either game for me. I don't think he's ready for these level of fixtures. I think even the Lincoln game, get your confidence up, get a goal, and really start to build your foundation from there. I think Esteval's shown more.
Yeah.
He's got to be in the mix. I think it's between him, Neto, and Garnacho for the 2 spots.
It could actually be Esteval and Neto. Really, you'd probably if Esteval's
if he's back from his illness,
then you would probably would that be your preferred 2, Esteval on the right, Neto
Yeah,
on the left?
I think Tees makes a great point. There is a game in between. I thought you were asking me in isolation.
Let's go Bayern Munich. Let's go Bayern Munich because that's the next game.
Yeah, I'm starting Neto Garnacho.
Neto and Garnacho. No Esteval if he's well enough.
No, I'm starting Neto and Garnacho.
Wow,
They're the 2 I'm going for. I think a little bit further down the line. You know, the modern game now is built on the bench as well. You look at the bench.
Yeah.
How can you change the game? We nearly done it at the weekend. You know, it's not just your starting 11. You've got 15 players that can affect a game. 11 start. And you've got 3, 4, maybe 5 that can come off the bench and really impact subtle little changes. Personally, I'm going Garnacho. I'm going to give him his start. He's an experienced player. You know, he's played so many games for United. He's an Argentinian international, by the way. You've got Neto who's flying, by the way. He's on. You know, he's not getting enough mentions at the moment.
His cutback should have led to a goal.
Yeah,
it's a great ball across the box.
I just think Jace over the last however long. I think stretching to the back end of last season, maybe the whole of last season, but the Club World Cup and
turn the year 100%. 100%.
So he is.
Been good.
I think just
really
I was going to say underrated, but I think you said it perfectly. Not spoken about enough how good and consistent he's been.
I think what happened early part of last season, we all remember it. It was either going to be Noni on that right hand side, and then you had this weird Sancho thing happening there, and then of course we know what happened. You know, with
Mudryk,
the drug that kind of was a bit of a weird thing that happened there,
Yeah.
and it seemed to be either Noni and then Neto was put out on the right, and eventually Maresca found it, and Noni actually done us a really good turn out on that left hand side. It really did add to our season. But don't forget what Neto did during the Club World Cup as well. He was, you know, he's as good as any wide man right now in the country. Yeah. Good as any wide man. And I'm putting him right up there. I can't think of anyone better that's happening out in those wide areas right now.
In terms of form.
In form, I think he's as good as anything.
Oh, yeah. Saka's injured. Salah's not playing brilliantly at the moment.
No, he's as good as anything out there. And I'm going back to the end of last season as well. Neto,
from
find me
a
better wide man out on the right than Neto. I'm waiting.
I think I'd probably go Esteval to start against Bayern. I'd say Garnacho to start at United. I think the storyline there is absolutely perfect for Garnacho to start at United and potentially try and score against his old club.
Imagine?
He's surely got a fire in his belly to play.
100%.
And I probably wouldn't go with the same wing pairing for both games. I would try to rotate it a little bit and keep just to keep it competitive. I want to see. I don't think anyone's nailed down their place out wide apart from Neto. Neto could play left wing. I'm happy with him on that side, and I'm happy with him on the right. I think the other guys, they all have to fight for their spot, and I think Esteval's, you know.
I think we've solved the left. I think that's still an issue, and it's been an issue for quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, that Mudryk, Sancho, Noni, Neto thing.
Yeah.
It's been quite. It hasn't quite been nailed down yet.
It's a real
and now
opportunity
we've got Gittins.
for
That's
someone.
another one.
Yeah.
It's a real opportunity for someone though. So if you're Jamie Gittins or you're Alejandro Garnacho, you're obviously Pedro Neto can play there, and if Esteval carries on playing the way he does, then it's likely it will be those two. But in terms of like a natural left winger, it's a real opportunity for one of those two to go, right, this is going to be my position.
Is there an argument to say that Palmer could even go on the right? We saw it against PSG. This is a big game against Bayern Munich, similar type of level of game. Joao Pedro in that 10, I think the 2 games he's played in the Premier League in the 10, he's been arguably one of the best players on the pitch, whether it be his defensive contribution in the midfield, winning duels, 100%. Defending in his own box, and then box crashing, ball carrying. I think when he went into the 10 for a spell, in that game against Brentford, he got the ball turned and found a great pass right for Gittins.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the issue.
This moves us on lovely to the striker situation.
If I speak, Jason, I'm in big trouble.
You solve one problem, create another.
Me and you, Matisse, have been speaking about this all summer long, both having the same opinion that we need 3 strikers.
Yeah.
that we absolutely need, and we are one injury away from real trouble.
Okay, can we have a conversation now? Bayern Munich on Wednesday evening. Joao Pedro has to start up top, right? Do we agree with that?
We have no choice.
We have no choice.
Okay, we agree with that.
Yeah. Even though he said he wasn't 100% fit before the game and still played.
Right, okay, so he starts up top, right?
If he gets injured, our season's done.
Okay. then the other three, for me, becomes quite natural. If fit, Palmer starts 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do we, you're right. He
could have gone on the right with an overlap, but we haven't got that
option. You're going away to Bayern Munich.
If you want him, you want him in the 10.
Right, we're going to take a draw, right? Draw's a good result.
Yeah, draw's a good result.
It's a good result, yeah.
Right?
I still want to win.
I don't know why you would. So you've got a problem up top in the 9. You only want to make changes if they're forced upon you. The Palmer one out there is not forced.
Yeah,
it's not
that
forced.
One is.
But do we get the best out of Palmer on that right?
I think it depends on the opponent, doesn't it?
Who plays 10 then? Esteval.
No, but you then go Enzo potentially. If we then play another midfielder,
that's not out the.
You go maybe a 3-man midfield.
That's why
I've never had an issue with
Neto
on the left. Neto on the left, you have to remember that goal that he got against West Ham, box crashing, back post. I don't feel like I always said it on the show, but I don't feel like Neto cuts in like an Iron Robin or Yamal or someone and really whips and bends that shot from that angle to say that he's got to play on that right hand side. I think Esteval actually's got more capability of doing that based upon what I saw at Palmeiras Club World Cup, some of the shots I've seen from him. I think Neto could still get his goals, crashing the box from that left hand side, making those runs, that off the ball movement that you spoke about, which we're going to need against Bayern because they're going to come onto us. They're definitely going to come onto us. They're not going to shy away from attacking us at the Allianz, and I think that actually hopefully plays into our hands.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like we've always struggled with breaking teams down. I think that's been something over, especially recent years, we've always struggled with. Whereas I quite like it, and it feels like in some of the big games, when teams do come onto us and we've got that space on the counter-attack, that is when we actually flourish. Yeah. And I think that could play into our hands, like you just say, really, really nicely against Bayern Munich. However, on the other hand, defensively, that means you have to be near perfection because their attack... I mean, we're coming up against arguably the best striker in the world. Yeah. The most complete striker in the world. Definitely. I'd still say is probably Harry Kane.
Absolutely.
And he's banging them in for absolute fun over there in Germany. And he's done it against Chelsea multiple times when we've played them. We usually win, but he has scored. Yeah. So the defence, Jace, if we play like that, has to be perfect.
Yeah, and then that goes into the conversation that Cucurella starts.
Has to.
Reece starts.
Has to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the partnership of Tosin, even though Fofana played, I don't see that. That's not enough for 40 minutes. So it's going to be Chalobah Tosin. It probably is, and I think I would go with Caicedo and Enzo. I think that they know one another. It's risk free in terms of a partnership. They know one another's game. I think Palmer. I think you're going to see Palmer. I think you'll see Joao Pedro, Neto. Going out.
Is it a left shout? I know we have not seen enough of Santos, but mobility-wise, in the big games away from home last season, we would go with Lavia and Caicedo.
Why can't Lavia
and the reason why we would do that is because we just feel like
Please.
the Enzo works hard. He covers ground, but it's the speed of it.
It's the 10 yards.
It's the 10 yards, exactly.
You're right.
And it's do we need more legs, more energy in that midfield next to Caicedo? I feel like that is a question
mark. So you think Caicedo and Santos could be the two?
Ideally, it would have been Lavia because I feel but now I only have Santos to look at for that, and I know he's got the energy. I know he can get around, win the tackles and interceptions, and just give more help to Caicedo in that area.
What is the Bayern Munich midfield? Do we know?
So they're going to go Goretzka. Will they go Kimmich?
I'm just trying to think, are they going to overload that midfield so that we're going to need more than Caicedo and Enzo in there?
I would assume
then
so.
Then Reece will
Absolutely.
come inside, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Or you'd expect...
He could do, yeah.
Reece might be the one, I mean...
Maybe Cucurella on the other side could come in as well. One of these fullbacks are probably going to have to come in.
Looked like both did the weekend, didn't it?
So Bayern Munich won 5-0 against Hamburg. But I'm just having a look at their midfield, and they actually played... So they played Joshua Kimmich and Alexander Pavlovic in midfield as a two. Pavlovic. Jesus Christ, that front four is unbelievable. Luis Diaz, Serge Gnabry, Michael Olise, Harry Kane. Marc Cucurella has to play because he's coming up against one of my favourite players to watch in Michael Olise. One of my least favourite players to interview, I shall say, but one of my favourite players to watch in Michael Olise. In Michael Olise. I mean, Christ, I look at that defence and think that can be got at.
I have to trust our fullbacks.
Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, and Stan. I mean, I don't know much about Stanisic, but
There's loads of change. There's loads of change in that back line.
Yeah, I think both teams will go there genuinely feeling they can get the 3 points. I don't see any reason why we can't go there after what we did in the World Cup, the Club World Cup.
That stadium is our stadium.
Yeah.
The Allianz, we own the Allianz. Do you remember what we did to them in their own backyard?
We all remember the 19th of May.
I agree with you. I think we should be going there.
No, it is a tough game.
It's a tough game, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't. And also, we haven't even touched upon Nicholas Jackson. He can play.
Yes.
Nicholas, right, this storyline, I feel like it's written. I don't expect him to start against Chelsea, but I fully expect him to come off the bench like he did on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we know he's a handful. We know he is a handful for defenders.
If anyone has a chip on their shoulder and a point to prove, it's him. Would you see the way that whole deal materialised on deadline day? He didn't want to come back. His agent was posting all sorts of... I don't blame him.
The plane doesn't fly backwards.
He was ushered out. He was kind of, told that he's no longer needed, no longer part of things, or he was told that he wasn't really going to be a competitive option in the front line. Yeah. Then the injury to Delap happens, and we did go back with our tail in between our legs. That's what happened.
I think what happened there, and I don't know, I think that they probably panicked slightly. The deal was probably always going to get done, but let's get our ducks in a row before we allow that to happen. And that was where the Guillou situation developed, because they had to have a conversation with Sunderland.
I thought we would be getting our ducks in a row financially, but now I see that potentially he's coming back after the loan, because the obligation is 40 starts, isn't it? So
there's no way. There's no way.
I think it was buying for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
We can't let him sign yet. Just hold your horses, right?
Yeah.
We will allow it. Let's sort out, because we've got a bit of a problem to solve anyway.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Garnacho situation will develop also on Sunday as well.
Absolutely.
Saturday evening. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Going back to the club.
How do you feel about Guillou being back?
It's tough on him.
It's not ideal. He's duty bound. He's paid by Chelsea. It's the fact that we've had one hamstring injury, and thank God it happened this side of the that side of the transfer window than this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
If it happened now.
We do have options, right? And I'm gonna, even though they're not ideal, Pedro Neto can play down the middle. He has done it. At times, it didn't really suit him, but we have an option down there. You can still play Esteval, you still play Palmer, and you still got Gittins and Garnacho out on that left-hand side. So it's less disrupted. My concern for him is that could happen. That there are going to be games where, like we saw at the weekend, where is he? I fear for him, on a human level, that his chances are going to be so limited. Yep. It's going to be Lincoln.
He can't play Lincoln. He's cup tied.
He's cup tied.
This is
the games that
okay. Well, my levels of anxiety and concern for him have risen again, because when is he going to be? He's a bench, and I'm not convinced that that's going to be. I think it's appearance off the bench only, and I think they're going to be few and far between.
Maybe, I mean, the games that I look at are like, and no, actually,
you can't disrespect any game.
No, you can't. Like, the way that the promoted teams have started this season have been way better than anyone expected. Even away from home, I think we all knew their home form was probably going to be the reason they stay up or go down. If they get points at home, they'll probably stay up. And Sunderland look really good. Yep. Leeds look pretty good. The Leeds look better than we all thought, and Burnley looked quite resilient as well, especially at home. I think if he's going to start any games, it's going to be those games at Stamford Bridge. But
I'm not comfortable with that as of yet.
Right, okay. So would you be you comfortable with Tyreek George playing that role?
I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay. but actually going forward, if Joao Pedro wants to occupy the spaces that Joao Pedro occupies, you either need someone deeper from midfield running in behind or making those runs, or you need to play Goo or George.
I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. Palmer can do that full nine kind of
heart attack.
I know, but that false nine.
Jace, I had so much hope for this season.
I'm trying to give you alternatives, which doesn't disrupt too much of the back line. Here's what I'm going to give you against certain opposition. I'm giving Esteval out wide right. I'm going to leave Esteval out wide right. I'm giving you Palmer down the middle.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you Neto out wide right. Palmer down the middle.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to put Pedro Neto, right, or Esteval, and then but here's the thing: we've got more options this season than we did last year. It was literally Cole Palmer FC.
Yeah.
In that 10 position, with Esteval that can do it, Pedro Neto. Yeah. Sorry, Joao Pedro that can do it.
Yeah.
I think
so. We do have
improved the team
a bit more choice.
However, I didn't think that a Liam Delap injury at this stage of the season would almost hurt us as much as it feels like it has. And I know we maybe haven't seen if it's hurt us maybe as much as we're thinking about just yet, but it feels like he is going to be a way bigger miss than we would have ever thought.
Yeah, because now Joao Pedro can also get no rest. Like he's got to play every single game.
He's got to play every Premier League game and every Champions League game.
Really, I didn't even want him to come off against Brentford. I know he wasn't having his greatest game, but he is one of the guys that can get a goal. He's in really good goal scoring form. Obviously, we took the lead, so it was okay at that point. But you don't even really foresee circumstances where Joao Pedro can come off. He has to do 90. Because what's unless we're leading 3-0, really comfortably, what scenario is Joao Pedro really coming off the pitch?
Well, the Tyreek
especially
George,
even defending it aerially. You've seen how he heads the ball away. That could have helped in that goal that we conceded.
Yeah, I mean the Tyreek George. I thought Tyreek added something to us. We started to make runs behind. We started to stretch their back line, and at a certain part of the game, I actually felt he really aided to us getting back into that game, getting a footing into that game. But starting, you're talking. No, that's
different ball game.
That's different. Yeah.
I'm really intrigued to see how Enzo Maresca sets up against Bayern Munich and against Manchester United on the weekend as well. Obviously, we're only 4 Premier League games into the season. I just want to have a look because I think
unbeaten, by the way. Let me just say
we are unbeaten. I just want to obviously we have Bayern Munich on Wednesday in the Champions League, followed by Manchester United away in the Premier League, and then we have Lincoln away in the EFL Cup, which is a chance again for the likes of Tyreek George. I would say Mark Gu, he can't play, which is great. Then we've got tough old set of games. Brighton at home, Benfica at home, Liverpool at home, Forest away, Ajax at home.
I mean, you say that.
Do you not think that's a bit of a tough run?
But they'll be looking at us as well. Honestly, they'll go. We got Chelsea away.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Honestly, they will. We're not. You go back 2.5 years ago when we're going through a real rough spell, changing managers. The squad was being changed at a rapid rate. I think we're one of those teams now. I said on talkSPORT a couple of weeks ago. I think we're more than capable of finishing second or third. I genuinely feel that, right? And I think you look at those games you just mentioned there, Liv, that they will come to us and they'll show us respect.
Yeah.
Everyone's fit. We will give them a game. Take out, obviously, Delat. We'll give them a game. And at home, I'll have us to beat Brighton.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll have us to beat Benfica. I'll have us to give Liverpool a damn good game because... Look,
we have to.
No, we will do.
We did last season.
No, we I promise you, I'm not at home. I think we need to build this into a bit of a fortress, right?
Like it was before.
Listen, of the
is it not winning those games against Liverpool at home that really is the difference?
Yeah, but also as well,
draw is kind of what we've done over the last couple of years.
Yeah, but the teams that we've played, of the 4, 3 of them play a back 5, right? And we struggle. And that's a concern for me right now, is that we played Palace, who were probably the best in the business at it. We saw Burnley do what they did against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
We went away to Brentford, right? Those teams you just mentioned, I'll be stunned if any of those sit and do
back.
what... So I think we need to go there and say, they'll give us more space. Will we give them more opportunities? Naturally, the way they set up. But I would honestly, I'll give us... Any one of those teams there, I'll give us more than a shout. We'll take big points off them. We will take points. Have us to beat Brighton. Have us to beat Benfica.
Yeah, Brighton at home,
and I guarantee we
have
give
us to beat Ajax.
Absolutely.
I don't know that's the point I'm making. We will give them a game. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we had a tough run at the back end of last year. The fixtures on paper looked difficult, but
we made it look easy.
Obviously the context, maybe some of them like Liverpool obviously had won the title already, but the space, like you said, that is afforded. You expect players like Garnacho, Gittins, Neto, they start taking advantage of that space. So I'm looking forward to the run. I'm still confident. I'm going into every game thinking we need to win. 100%. We can win. You know.
Do you think we are where we thought we'd be, or where we're supposed to be after 4 games? I know it's obviously only 4 games, but is this sort of where you expected us to be, in the situation you expected us to be in?
I had us having at least 10 points out of 12 with the games that we've played. I really... Palace, you can get it. You've seen what they've done. At first game of the season, I feel like Brentford's the one where I was...
The manner in which we lost
especially with, we talk about our difficulties. Brentford, no Damsgaard. They've lost their 2 strikers, new manager, no captain. He's gone to Arsenal. Like, Brentford also have been absolutely ransacked in that window. So I really, as much as the record is tough there, it's a team that probably will be in the bottom 6 of the table, fighting for their lives. I wanted us to just scrape through that and get to the other side of the final whistle. But yeah, I don't know about second right now, because I feel like the depth in certain areas, mainly up front, and obviously we have to look at the centre-backs with Colwell out. That is a concern for me with obviously Arsenal having the depth that they have with the way that they've ended the window. But I definitely think with City, we should be minimum going up against them. And if we can't go for the league, which is a shame because it's going to be almost 10 years at this point, but go and get the cups, go and get the Carabao Cup, go and get the FA Cup, go and try and get the third star. We're a knockout team. We've shown it in the Club World Cup. We love to have a big day out, you know what I mean?
With the underdogs. Give us the underdogs all day long.
Exactly. And whenever we're written off in a big game, we tend to turn up and deliver. So if that's the way it goes, you know, I'll take it. I have no complaints.
I think we've got more chance to win the Champions League than we do the Premier League.
Absolutely.
100%.
Genuinely feel that.
So do you think those two will be the top two? And it'll be Chelsea City.
It feels like that,
probably,
It feels like that.
Probably.
I feel because we have, like you mentioned earlier, this is the first time Maresca is managing a Champions League, Premier League situation in terms of the fixtures on the back of a Club World Cup. So that's why I was almost so frustrated with the window, the way it ended in terms of we didn't strengthen with some of the names we were linked to. Maybe it was Fermin Lopez at Barca who got 2 goals over the weekend. Whether it was Xavi Simons, because whether it's Kudus not getting the Dewsbury Hall swap from West Ham. We cannot underestimate how difficult it is to do a Premier League, Champions League season at the same time and rotate and have strong outfield 11s and options with injuries and whatnot. That Christmas period that we have to approach, which we always struggle with, that is a test for this manager and he has to get past that. So it's a lot to ask for him to, in his first season, maybe juggling that with the way that the window ended as well, because of maybe UEFA restrictions or whatever, to be with Arsenal and Liverpool. But it's a shame because I genuinely agree with you. I think there's weaknesses in all the other teams, or there's definitely things that you can look at and say, well, they're not that, they're not. So we can be closer, but we've got our own issues as well. So it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Right, Bayern Munich, Man United. How many points are we getting from those
6?
Those 2 games? I love your optimism.
I mean, you made the point earlier, Liv, about Man United away. I don't remember the last time I didn't have this conversation. It's our time to beat them.
We say this every year. We say this every year. Every single year for the last 10 years. For the last 12 years.
It's a good time to play them.
Yeah. And then they sack the manager. This time they haven't sacked the manager though.
But it's a good time to play them.
Yeah.
Honestly, you watch incoming 2-1 defeat.
They are turning into Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. They actually are. I hope you're prepared for that. The Manchester United that turned up against Man City is not going to be the same Man United that turns up against us.
We have to break this record. Amorim's been breaking records.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Has to be broken.
I don't know what I'm going to do if we don't.
We play our best team, and our best team is, of course, having Cucurella at right back. I expect Reece, even though he's managing Reece, you can tell, going into the international break. I wonder what he thought, by the way, of Tuchel playing him in both.
Bloody hell, Thomas!
I know.
Could have done with him getting a bit of a rest.
Come on,
I'm trying to rest
Get with the programme, Thomas, honestly.
Come on, Thomas.
If everyone is fit, that's fit now,
yeah,
I'll have us to go and beat Man United, right? I'll have that now.
We actually said it on this show last.
I'm going to say it every year until it happens, honestly.
Find the recording.
I'm going to keep... I think I said it and he might have told me, slow down there, Buckaroo. We don't win in this stadium. That's actually probably what happened.
I'm
going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep saying
it.
The only concern is we play Bayern on Wednesday. Man United have a whole week off. And they're going to be rested.
They've had a whole 2 weeks off. And
they were still,
I'll have that now. Bayern Munich game. I'll take a point.
4 out of 6 isn't bad.
I'll take 4 out of 6 right here, right now.
Yeah, I would take 4 out of 6 as well.
Only if it's that way round.
Only if it's that way round. Thank you for saying that. It has to be that way round.
If we beat Bayern Munich at 6 points, it has to be.
It has to be. I can't drop points to United again.
No, that would be terrible.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Imagine beating Bayern Munich and then losing to Man United.
Don't.
Sorry. Is this finally gonna be the year that we beat Manchester United at Old Trafford? Hopefully, I can't be saying the same thing this time next season. I really can't. Right, that is it for another episode of Inside Chelsea. A big thank you to you guys watching and or listening. A huge thank you, of course, to Jason and Matisse. We will see you very, very soon for another episode. Up the Chels.